Okay. Look at that, I'm recording! Welcome everybody to the 23rd Annual Fringe Festival Talk Show. The YouTube audience can detect the sarcasm. It was going to come across really spontaneous and you guys just ruined it. Welcome. I am your host. My name is Kindred. I'm the chair of the Atlantic Fringe Festival Society and the host for Atlantic Fringe Festival Talk Show. We decided to do this as a little opportunity for you to learn a little bit more about all of the shows that we have in the festival. I wish we could have all of the shows on, but we've got a select few that we're going to be able to talk to. I got this job because I'm really
handsome.
Witty. That was not the answer that I was going to go with, but now that's no. I was gonna say useless at all of the other jobs that are necessary to run the festival, but handsome is much better.
Pretty, witty, and gay.
All of those things. Heavily stacked towards the latter, but. So we've got 3 shows on tap for tonight. But before we get into that, the 3 shows that we have are. I tried to get shows that had some kind of common theme to them, although it's sort of loose connections in a lot of cases. But the shows tonight all have at least some discussion of Star Wars, comic books, The Vampire Slayer. Is there even a microphone on? What did that come from? Some kind of sci-fi nerd geekdom. So I thought maybe that would be my thing. Are there a lot of nerd geekdom folks in the audience tonight?
This is a geekdom.
Drinking nerds, awesome. I'm a little bit of a sci-fi nerd. Like I was a Star Trek fan. I was a tiny bit of a comic book nerd, really only when it came to Wonder Woman. I know you're saying, like, Kevin, that is so contrary to our view of you as the most masculine man in the room. Really, like, Wonder Woman is one of the very few cultural things that, like in the LGBT community, that gay men and lesbians both love. It's a rare thing. Well, maybe you can talk about that when you're up. But no, yeah, it's like
accessories.
I think lesbians love Wonder Woman because she's like a strong, sexy, powerful woman figure, and gay men love her because her weapons are bracelets and a tiara. But she's awesome and has like long appealed to me. I like her because she can fly. But she also has an invisible jet, because like sometimes she's tired. I get that. I used to watch the old Wonder Woman show in reruns. I don't know if you're all familiar with the Wonder Woman fighting for our rights in satin tights, and like that. It's how offensive is it that in the first 10 seconds of learning about Wonder Woman, first they have to tell you what she's wearing. Like, they don't do that for Superman or Batman. And the thing is, she doesn't even wear satin tights. That's the weird thing. Like everyone can picture Wonder Woman. She's wearing this like star-spangled onesie type deal. Like she's fighting crime in her bathing suit.
As you do.
As one does. I mean, I'm not judging.
Less restrictive.
And in the show, they put it in this era of Wonder Woman where Wonder Woman is fighting the Nazis, which is sort of a weird, like, to pair up Wonder Woman against them. I mean, I'm glad that she defeated the Nazis. This is not like a pro-Nazi statement. But when you think, like Wonder Woman has, I bet she has super strength and super speed. And yeah, like, she's amazing. And the Nazis had, like, super
Hitler.
Jew hating. Like that's not really a superpower. Like anti-Semitism, like my grandmother has that. Mel Gibson has that. Not that I'm sympathetic towards that. It just doesn't seem like a fair match necessarily. And then the show, dealing with the fact that it's not a fair match, they just like can't find a way to resolve situations. So she's fighting Nazis, and clearly she's going to defeat them, but she can't like defeat all the Nazis in one episode. So they have like the Nazis just run away. And then Wonder Woman runs up to the camera and is like, oh, they ran away. If only I had some kind of rope-based weapon that I could use to catch them, or maybe a tiara that turned into a boomerang, right? But they just didn't have a way. There was one episode she was tracking the Nazis to. She followed them to Argentina, and there's a scene the episode ends with them like running along the beach. She's chasing Nazis along the beach. And the Nazis escape literally by pulling snorkels out of their backpacks and then like running into the water. And again, and the episode ends with Wonder Woman running up to the edge of the water and then being like, God, they got me this time. And like me, I'm sitting at home as a kid watching the show saying like, the water is this deep. And you're already fighting crime in your bathing suit. Like, this is your time. But anyway, speaking of time, we should get on with the show. So our first guest tonight is from the show 39. I'll ask Brian to come up. Brian is... Again, Reckless Abandon. Brian is a comedian. His show is at the Art Gallery of Nova Scotia. And he is up for, he's a finalist for SiriusXM Canada's Next Top Comic. So, should we know a little bit about how we can vote for you if we like you in that?
Oh, this one's not voting. It's
okay.
It's the gala show with Just for Last 42. So
Awesome.
it's just eight people and judges, and then it's over. The voting's already happened.
Wow. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but thank you.
So when do we get to find out the results?
September 19th is the show.
Perfect. Okay. Well, I'll be paying attention. So tell us a little bit about your show.
My show's 39. It kind of started. I saw the Fringe last year, and I wanted to. It kind of motivated me. I'm a stand-up comedian, and stand-ups are very dark and angry people, generally. And so I wanted to get out of my comfort zone of my jokes and stuff. So I decided to do a show this year. It started when I lied about my age, and I told someone I was 38. Which why, right? It's pathetic. Such a pathetic lie. So it started with that, and it just became kind of a personal inventory of my life, and just kind of being the dreamer that I am, and how it's led to certain decisions that led to journeys around the world. And yeah, and I just came as part of the Fringe. I have like 3 shows in now, and it's been great. Like I said, it's so different from stand-up because everyone's so collaborative and friendly. It's kind of terrifying.
Like, what's our hidden motive?
Yeah, what do you guys want?
I saw your show earlier this afternoon. The crowd was great, and
It really
it
was.
was hilarious. I totally
you.
recommend the show.
Thank you very much.
It's great. So so one of the things you talk about in the show is traveling around quite a bit, and there's a sense of culture shock in the show. What's the strangest place that you've been to? What's the deepest culture shock that you've encountered?
I don't know. I mean, there was in Korea. I taught English in Korea as a second language. That started by when I got fired from a gas station in Calgary, Alberta. So I have a degree in community studies, which that's the perfect reaction, exactly. I have no idea what it means either. I ended up in Korea, and there's a game in Korea that kids play called Dung Chim, and it translates into English as poop needle. And the kids take their fingers, they clasp them together in the shape of a gun, index
Can I
fingers
just say,
pointed out.
I'm cringing already because I've heard this.
Okay.
But, yeah.
And yeah, like in the shape of a gun, index fingers pointed out, thumbs up, and they come up behind you and they jam you in the asshole. That's a game. That's a game for children in South Korea. We all know that's a crime. That's sexual assault. In South Korea, it's a game for children. So that was a rude awakening in the class. That was a culture shock, for sure.
And so you've traveled, you talked about a couple of places in Asia during the show, but how widely have you traveled?
Just a little, like all over Southeast Asia and North America. Just that's really, but a lot of Asia. Yeah.
And how did you get started as a stand-up?
On a bet with my girlfriend, who's now my wife. She was sick of me talking about it. I always wanted to do it, but I never had the guts to do it. And she was a smoker, and we made the bet if she quit smoking for a month, I'd have to jump up on stage. And she did, and I did, and here I am.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is she still not
And
smoking?
she's not a smoker. Yeah,
Okay.
win-win.
So if she ever picks up a cigarette, like, do you have to stop doing it?
Yeah. I quit.
Damn it. It was just when I was getting comfortable.
She's in total control of my career.
You talked a little bit about wanting to be part of the Fringe Festival, because one of the things we do as a festival, like there's all sorts of different kinds of shows. There's some super serious kind of brooding dramas, and there's sketch comedy, and there's stand-up comedy, and there's the wide variety of stuff. So what attracted you to the Fringe Festival?
I just, like I was mentioning earlier, coming out of my comfort zone as a comedian, I kind of was more joke heavy, and I wanted to get into storytelling, and it's kind of like a realization of the stuff I've done. I'm trying to tell more stories about my travels, and I just took the challenge to jump into the Fringe and just give it a go. It was really that, and I saw his shows last year, and again, I saw how supportive and collaborative everybody was. And so yeah, here I am.
Oh, great. Well,
Yeah.
you know, we're happy to have you, but I'm really happy to see more stand-up comedians sort of approaching the Fringe, and because it kind of forces you to I guess appeal to an audience that was really they're interested in theater, so they may have a little bit of a different expectation when they go to see stand-up.
They definitely do, and actually it was funny because I showed up at the venue the first night and there was no microphone. And like I'm used to having a microphone. So it was like first night I was like cool, and the guy Noah at the venue was so nice. I was like, okay, I'll try the first show without a microphone. And it went fine, but I have that muscle memory where I'm just so used to having it. So now I've decided to just do all the rest of the shows without the microphone and go for it.
Do you find you're like grabbing for it and it's
just
not
I don't know
there?
what I'm doing. I got to see some video. Like it seems to be okay, but yeah, it's kind of different. Performance, I guess.
And you're playing in the Art Gallery of Nova Scotia, so
Yeah.
it's probably not a typical stand-up comedy venue.
No, but it works actually. It's kind of a tight little matchbox of a room. It's actually perfect for comedy.
And
Yeah.
you've played all sorts of, like I said, like comedians play from like
Oh,
big
yeah.
halls to like
Yeah, totally.
what's the strangest environment you've ever played as a comedian?
I mean, I've done all kinds, you know, from tents to titty bars, homeless shelters, someone's living room here in Halifax.
What can I ask you? You mentioned that during the show, and I filed that away for like how do you play a homeless shelter?
I was working at a homeless shelter at the time. I was a case manager, and then we had an idea to kind of start a spoken word event and kind of bring kids out and get them to speak and talk, and I kind of took the lead on it, and that's how it started.
Well, that's actually like super inspiring. I thought it was just going to be like I got drunk one night and wandered over and started telling jokes. Now I feel bad.
I just wanted somebody to listen to.
Okay, well, I'm going to ask also each of the guests. I've been doing this through the whole show, but is there anything else that's on the radar screen other than your show, which everybody should go see? But any other shows that you're interested in, or have seen, or want to see?
Well, yeah, the ones that stood out to me when I went through the book was Birdie is one. I think her name was Carrie Richards. Roller Derby Saved My Life, which is Nancy Kenny, and Bill Wood, Pissing Through Windows.
Yeah.
And those are the three that, you know, I mean, there's others as well that are but those are the three kind of.
Bill's got two shows. He's got pissing
Out of
Pissing out of
windows.
pissing out of
Out of
windows,
windows.
and then he's got his magic
I
show.
saw his magic show today.
It's very
It was
different
incredible.
from.
It's very different, but it's just fun to watch him work all ages. You know, there's some kids there, and it was really fun to watch it through the kids' eyes.
Yeah, there were kids there when I was there too,
Yeah.
and I could sort of tell that he like had dirty jokes
Oh,
at the
yeah.
ready, that he was like stopping.
Yeah. And there's more than that, but those are the three that I'm gonna see, you know, next.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, stick around.
Yeah, of course.
I'll invite up the next guest, but thanks so much for. The next guest, Brian mentioned, but the show is Roller Derby Save My Soul. You want to come on up? Okay, we're waiting for a music cue for Nancy to come up. She's polite. Whoa, is that the song?
Come right up there.
Yeah, why don't we? So welcome. Oh,
Thank you. No,
Tell us who you are and what your show is.
I'm Nancy Kenny, and it's Roller Derby Saved My Soul. Not saved my life, but that's okay, because that means Brian was respectful and looking me in the eye. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, we were hanging out at a gay bar last night, and you were wondering, I'm like, nobody will look down here.
No one knows what my show is. No one knows. I don't understand what's going on. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the show.
It's a serious drama about how I found. Yeah, it's a comedy. It's a show about a young woman who loves comic books and superheroes and Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and she doesn't understand why her life isn't more exciting like a superhero movie, and then she discovers roller derby. and everything changes for her from that point on.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And so how much of this is autobiographical? Because I know you have a love for roller derby, and
Yes.
so yeah.
None of it.
None of it is, okay.
None of it. It's fiction. Which was actually kind of funny because I was speaking to, I think Kate, who writes for The Coast, because the opening show here in Halifax was the first time. I've done the show for about 3 years now, but this was the first time my mom could come and see it. Because my mom's in New Brunswick, so a family drove down just to see my show. And I mentioned it at the end of the show that my mom was here and she got to see the show for the first time. And I'm talking to the lady from The Coast, and she's like, so how did your mom feel about the show? Because I have a mom character in the show it's not the most flattering mother. And I was like, oh, she was great, she loved it. And she's like, oh, really? And I was like, you know, it's fiction, right? Like, that's not my mother at all. And I think she was a little disappointed when she found out it was fiction. Yeah.
So you're from Bathurst originally?
Bathurst, New Brunswick, yeah.
And so where are you now?
In Halifax.
And am I there too? No, I mean you've come here for the show, so
Yes, I actually, as of June, don't have a fixed address.
Oh,
I've been
so you're
on the
homeless.
road. I prefer the term hobo sapien.
Brian, I have some jokes for you.
Excellent.
But so you're between. Were you in Toronto for a while?
I was in Toronto. I've lived in Ottawa for about 12, 13 years. So that's more or less where I say I'm from is Ottawa. But I lived, and then I moved to Toronto for almost 2 years. And then as of June, I've been on the road. And I'm not quite sure, I'm going to continue being on the road till at least October. So I'm not really sure where I'm going to go after this. I feel like this summer I'm interviewing cities.
Well, we're happy to be on your list. We hope you take us seriously as an option.
I'm checking it out. I'm definitely checking it out. That hill, though, gives you some demerit points. I can't really go skating on that hill.
Yeah, especially if you're trying to roller skate around the city,
yeah.
that might be a bit of a challenge.
Right into the harbor. Yeah.
So this show has been on the road for, I don't know, have you stopped a lot of places in Canada? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I've done it a couple times in Ottawa. I've also done Hamilton, Swift Current, Saskatchewan, Montreal. I just came from the Edmonton Fringe Festival.
Right.
Here, and now here.
And Edmonton has a huge Fringe festival. I mean,
Huge.
We would love to someday have the scope of what
there's over 200 performances. There's shows that start at noon every single day. There's people who take vacation time to just go to the Fringe. It's crazy. It's really crazy.
Yeah, I mean I think we're slowly starting to
You'll get there.
be there in
you'll get
Halifax,
there.
and I think just to plug the festival, we're year after year. I think more people are recognizing us as a pretty key part. But someday to be like Edmonton would be great. And the show is continuing to be on the road. Where are you going after Halifax?
Well, no. After this is actually my last festival that I know of right now. After this, I'm going to New York for a week. Just to take an acting class, and after that I'm going to be heading to Moncton to visit with my family for a few weeks and take a break.
Yeah.
Take a break.
Yeah, your mom's come down for the show, and she's been driving you around and.
No. Well, she just did that one day.
Oh, okay.
That one day, which was great because if you go on my blog, I actually chronicled my journey at the Edmonton Fringe and this Fringe, the opening day for me. They've been insane, and somehow I always forget. I have popcorn in my show. I have popcorn. You get to eat popcorn if you come to my show, which is wonderful.
Especially after a long day of seeing other Fringe shows, you don't know how important that is to find a show where you can be fed.
Yeah, I feed you, so don't worry about that.
Too.
Yeah. But yeah, so the problem is, for some reason, I often forget that I'm supposed to get popcorn for the show, so I'm quite often running around at the last minute wondering where can I find popcorn at this hour.
Because now you've sold it as the show where you can get popcorn.
Everyone expects popcorn now. But what was great was because my mom was in town, I called her, I'm on my way to my tech rehearsal, and I'm like, Mom, can you go get me some popcorn? And she did.
So it's nice to be back on the East Coast where people will buy you popcorn.
People will buy me popcorn, yes.
And you're the show's about roller derby, or
Yes.
has a lot of roller derby, but you're personally a fan of roller derby as well. Have
Yes.
you gotten to experience any roller derby while you've been in Halifax?
Well, the funny thing is, because every city I go to, I always contact the teams to let them know about the show, because I always, and sometimes, for instance, in Edmonton, I had some of the players, they came to they have a Fringe parade where you can hand out flyers, and the teams sent people to roller skate with me in the parade.
Oh, wow.
And hand out flyers and stuff like we're my front of house people at every show. It was great. And so I contacted the team here in Halifax, and I found out that they had a game last night, but my show was at the same time. So I unfortunately didn't get to go see the game, which I was disappointed. But then last night I was here for the panel show, which is a wonderful, wonderful quiz show that everyone should come and see. And after, it was suggested by a certain person sitting here that we go across the street to the men's bar. And I was tired, and I didn't really want to go, and I crossed the street, and I just look, and I'm like, there's these women standing outside the bar, and I'm like, oh, they're all wearing shorts and jerseys and have little Sharpie numbers written on their arms, and I just yelled out, oh my God, are you guys the roller derby team? And they just turned around and were like, yeah, and it turns out that's where they were having the after party after the game. So I got to meet a whole bunch of the players. They're all coming on Thursday
Awesome.
to the show. Yeah.
So you found your fandom.
I found them. Yeah.
So you've given away my secret part, which is like part of the reason I do this is just so I find new people to drink with. So.
I'm Facebook friends now. That's great.
So you mentioned panel show, but anything else that you've seen or that's on your radar
I've seen a few shows now that I've absolutely loved. I loved Cupidity. It was awesome one-woman show. I saw Mature Young Adults, which I really liked as well. Today I saw Love in the Time of Time Machines, which is very funny.
I saw that today as
yes,
well, yeah.
Yes, I sat
Oh,
next
yeah,
to
I'm
you.
sorry, we were sitting right next to you. I've seen a lot of shows.
I'm here. But the one I'm really excited for is Once More with Feeling. Woo! Yeah. It's the Buffy musical episode that they're doing as a stage production. It's the best episode of Buffy. And the funny thing is, I actually, even before coming here, because my character is obsessed with Buffy the Vampire Slayer, there is a part in the show where I actually mention the musical episode, which I thought was so random, but so I'm very excited to see that one.
Well, awesome. And you're really good at transition because, well, thank you for joining us. Yeah, I think that's going on. Because transition. The next show that we are going to welcome up is Once More with Feeling.
I would just stare at you.
Somehow I find that a little creepier. Okay, so if you want to go down, introduce yourselves and your involvement with the show. I think we've already said it's Once More with Feeling. It's the Buffy the Vampire Slayer musical episode. So let us know who you are.
I'm Savannah Darby, and I play Anya.
I'm Alicia Hunsberger, and I play Buffy.
And I'm Laura Thornton, and I'm the producer of this crazy little show that we literally just got off stage doing.
We were so
really sweaty, and I'm just like, oh my god.
So much eyelashes.
Yes. They look like ladies of the night, but it's okay. They love them anyway.
We thought that maybe you were going to burst in halfway through the show because you sent me a note saying that the show was running late. That's dramatic.
We're really good with death scenes.
In joke to our own show. It's been one of those days.
Okay, so you decided. So how did this idea come about? I know this because I'm involved with the festival. You, I think, were thinking of doing this last year,
Oh, okay.
and the other people on the board will know because when we were going through the lists of shows, I'm kind of the last person to find out. And when it came to your show, I kind of did want to like, oh, because I'm also a big fan of Buffy. So
Well, I can say that last April, when the Fringe deadline was earlier than we were anticipating, we kind of all looked at each other and went, are we doing a Fringe show this year? Because we had, Saints Alive had planned to do a different show, but as sometimes happens, government funding fell through and it didn't happen. And we're like, well, we should just submit for the Fringe in case, because we didn't know that our other show was going to fall through. And so my director was like, I wanted to do it last year. I submitted, then I couldn't do it. Can we please do it? And I will forever kick myself for this is a direct quote. I said, oh my God, that will be the easiest thing to stage ever. Yes!
yeah, there's only like 7, 8, 9 characters, an
15,
entire music.
15, a crew of 30.
Right.
We are
and an entire musical score to learn and
we
choreograph.
have a 3-person band, 15 people in the cast. We have 9 main characters, and an ensemble of 6. Our ensemble is ridiculous.
Incredible.
Insane.
So good. They are working their butts off.
Like I said, we've had a musical director, an assistant musical director, a piano player, a drummer, and a guitar player. I have a stage manager, an assistant stage manager, a choreographer, a director, 5 backstage people, a makeup team. Like, we're not doing a Fringe show, we're doing a show at the Fringe.
That's really because one of the things that we get a lot, one of the reasons why Fringe appeals to people is because it's easy to put on sort of a small show with one person. You can take it from away and kind of pack a box and you find a stage and experiment, but we don't get an awful lot of like 15 cast member productions, so it's really. So were you all? Was everyone who's involved a Buffy fan? Did they all know the material going in, or did you have to educate people?
I would say a good chunk of us
Most of us
were
are fans.
most of us are
I
fans.
think there's only one or two
who didn't
or I should say only 1 or 2 who copped who have not seen the episode when we cast.
Yeah, who actually like admitted to it.
But I know that on the production side, like sitting in on the first read through was insane because we're just sitting there going, oh my god, we hear it, we see it, and like and it wasn't even on its feet yet. And like both of these two are unreal in their characters, and it's you guys. No, but it's I don't want to speak for you, but I know that taking on that iconic role of Buffy Summers is pretty, and Anya, those are very, very strong characters, and they both have really found a way to embrace the character without being mimicry.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. I'm seeing it tomorrow at the coveted 2 p.m. matinee spot.
Actually, that's a pretty popular spot from what I've heard. There's a lot of tickets. So
Okay, well I'm gonna go online and get my ticket then and see it tomorrow. So I'm a fan of the show, so I kind of know what I'm getting into. But like, I assume there must be people in the audience who don't know all of the backstory because it's like it's late in the you need to know a lot about these characters to follow this. So like, how do you handle that? How do you prepare it?
It's interesting because I think we all kind of had that concern. Like, my parents are coming to see the show, and I'm like, it's about vampires.
Yeah.
And I've had to kind of explain, like, give them the backstory, and I don't know. Like, we've definitely worked some things.
We threw an extra scene in.
Yep.
Diehards of the episode will go, wait a minute.
That's
not
in the
original.
episode. Yeah.
It's like
it's from the show.
It happens a few episodes earlier, but we threw it in there for some context. Also, we kind of wrote a prologue.
There's a little
that the audience actually loves. Got a really great reaction tonight. We're expecting the laugh that we got. And it was charming. We love it.
Oh, that's really, because like again, there's so many. The episode has like lots of little things that are funny because you know that they happened like 3 seasons ago.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of tough to kind of take on a character that you're like so many. Like, I'm a brunette, for example.
So Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah. So it was like the debate of like, do you dye my hair or not?
How blonde do we take her?
How blonde do we go? Like, what do we do? Because you know that the diehards are going to come in and
this is not platinum blonde and
this
pixie
is
cut.
wrong.
Like, this is wrong.
Wow, that is true commitment.
Oh yes.
Well, she got a sweet donated hair.
Yeah, we got to shout out to.
So shout out to Redkin,
Shout out to
Karen
Redkin.
Doherty. Thank you very much for the like $1,000 worth of hair product you gave us.
Wow, awesome.
Yeah, people love Buffy.
This took 5 hours.
So I mentioned at the beginning, every show like has some sort of like little sci-fi talk. Brian, you talk about Star Wars in your show a little bit. But were you ever a Buffy fan, or is that like the limit of your?
Well, yeah, no, not really, unless I'm wanting to have sex with Sarah Michelle Gellar. That counts. Well, I'm a huge fan.
I think no matter your sexual orientation, like the idea of having maybe sex, not Sarah Michelle Gellar so much as just having sex with Buffy probably appeals universally, but or maybe that's just me. Anyway, too much sharing.
Faith. It's all about faith in my books. Like, hey, do you hear the things she says to Spike? I'm just saying.
Okay, now we're just getting into
Yeah, now we're just getting into it.
stuff.
No big deal. No big deal.
Andrea gets the short end of the
Okay,
stick
so
every
okay, back to me. You guys can spend a lot of time together. Why don't so before we wrap up, you've got a big team. You've been on stage a lot, but what else? I don't know if you've seen anything. Is there anything that's on your radar screen? For
I saw Invasion here. Very good.
Invasion the musical. We have a strange number of musicals this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Sci-fi based musicals.
Alien invasions, like.
Or like television, like
Law and Order, special
Oh, yeah.
Is it
Special music.
victim?
Musical victims.
Okay, I was like special musicians unit. I know. Well, I did interviews for Ham Hands for a lot of people, so I've heard about a lot of really exciting shows. And now that we're open, I can breathe because it's been a crazy couple of days. So I actually have my French program. I've been crossing out everything that conflicts. I'm just gonna try and see everything.
Yeah.
Because I love French. Grew up in Halifax. Big fan. So
I actually had like a breakdown, I think, on Thursday before we went to the previews because I was like had the schedule, the co-schedule out on my desk at work, and I was like highlighting things and crossing out places where I can't go and being like, well, can I see it here? Or can I see it here? I don't know if I should see it. I was just like,
we want to see everything. There's a lot of us.
I really want to see Help. I'm having a midlife quarter life crisis.
Not
Midlife
midlife
crisis.
crisis.
Read it. Yeah. And Birdie is definitely on my list. And roller derby saved my soul. All over that bad boy. But yeah,
I'm standing, I'm right behind you.
Yeah.
And 39,
Yeah, totally.
Well, especially when you talk about Star Wars.
Yeah. Love the nerds.
And 937.
937. We're sharing space with them.
We're sharing a space with them. And zombie rom-com. Like we've got like some really great sci-fi stuff.
There's a lot.
I can't even, there's just a lot.
There's such, I mean, anyway, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you get a copy of the guide because it's just such a wide variety of stuff. And also there's like short little shows and long serious shows.
Loving like the number of like short one-womans this year.
Yeah, there are a lot of one-woman shows. It's every year there's sort of some sort of theme that comes out. A lot of sci-fi musicals and one-woman shows. If somebody writes a one-woman sci-fi musical, we've got to start.
Done next year. Make it happen.
Challenge accepted.
All right. So once more with Feeling, you're playing at the. I should mention where everyone is playing before. So you're playing at the Neptune Studio, and when is your next show?
Tomorrow
at 2.
And then Wednesday at 7.
Wednesday at 7, and that's the end of your run?
No.
Oh no, and then more. So you got plenty of chances, but
Tickets are selling well.
tickets are selling well. You can buy tickets online in advance of the show, or on the day of the show. You can buy the ticket at the venue itself. So that's you guys. You're playing at the
Museum of Natural History Theater.
theater.
Yes, the theater.
We have 2 spaces at Museum of Natural History, and again, buy your tickets online or the day of the show at the venue. And we already said you're at the Art
Art Gallery,
Gallery.
Nova Scotia on Hull Street.
Yeah, the weird kind of behind the building entrance that nobody really knows is
No,
there
they really
until you
don't.
show up looking for a Fringe show. And of course, conveniently, they're under construction at the time, so you really look
Come
like
early to find the door.
yeah. Okay, well, thanks everybody for joining us tonight. Thank you in the actual audience. I'm really shocked to see that.
Man, I want them to come to my show.
I know.
Yeah.
Whoever that is cheering,
You know,
can we plant you?
the secret is before your show, just go and tell them, give them direct instructions, so whenever I tell you to applaud, just applaud
So
with
add it
reckless
to the
abandon.
cell phone message.
Yeah. And by the way, be a really good audience.
If you're a
Laugh
really
a
good
lot.
audience,
Yeah.
it'll give you more beats.
And thank you for anyone who's watching this on YouTube. Thank you for I think maybe one person who's commented on the YouTube video so far, but people are watching them. So I think the one comment was on the last episode I spilled my beer. Like I put it down and the beer overflowed, and it was like a terrible. And my dad. My dad commented, "Who taught you how to drink beer?" So thanks to my family for watching, and thanks all for showing up. We have one more episode of Fringe Talk Show tomorrow night, and I look forward to the rest of the Fringe. Thanks for coming. This is the awkward part of the show where I have to ask somebody to shut off the recording. So yeah, okay.